In this video, we're going to go over completing and e-filing a tax return using the web software in the interview input. Now, once you have already created your return, you've entered the personal and dependent information, income, deductions, credits, and so forth, you're going to arrive at this screen here, list of other forms. Now, if any of these forms apply, you want to go ahead and complete them. Otherwise, it's the form right after this is what we're most interested in. So let's go ahead and scroll down towards the bottom, and we're going to click on Save and Continue Return. Now, on this next page, you're going to ask if you're going to want to e-file the federal return, and it's going to take us through Form 8879. So we're going to check here to indicate, yes, we will be e-filing our federal return. And then we're going to click on Save and Continue. All right, so now on this screen is the information that we need to enter for Form 8879. You want to enter what is applicable for your situation, so I'm just going to check a few boxes here, indicate the current date, and then press Save and Continue Return. All right, so then the following page here, you're going to see a summary here of the federal tax return, the income, the adjustments, the deductions, and so forth, and then the refund amount. So as we can see is we have a amount overpaid. We've got a refund coming here on this particular return, and it's going to ask us if we'd like to apply any of this refund to next year's return. If we don't want to, we're just going to leave this figure as 0. And we're going to go ahead and Save and Continue Return. All right, so the following screen is going to ask you, how would you like to receive your refund? Do you want to direct deposit into one account? Do you want to split the refund into multiple accounts, or purchase bonds, or a paper check, or just to receive a paper check? For this example, we're just going to select to receive a paper check. If you were to select a direct deposit into one account, the following pages would ask you for bank information. But just for this example, we're just going to select paper check, and we're going to click on Save and Continue Return. All right, the following page is going to ask you about estimated tax payments. If you'd like to create some vouchers for the next tax year for estimated tax payments, you'd want to indicate yes, and it would take you through a few pages of generating those vouchers. If you don't want to, you can just say no, and then click on Save and Continue Return. All right, so here's a page where we can review and print our tax forms. This won't be the only place you can print your tax forms, but you can print them here if you'd like. As you can see, I've got a very simple return, just a 1040, one W-2, and our Form 8879. If you want to view them, you can click directly on them. They will open up in a new window as a PDF document for you to review and print. But if you don't need to do that, or would like to do that another time, we're just going to click on Save and Continue Return. All right, so if you were doing a state return, it would show up on this page here. For my example, I use Texas, so there is no state income tax. But if you were to prepare a return that does have a state attached, you would, on this screen here, you would see state information and the ability to go in and prepare that tax return. Or in this case, you know, if you're doing a state that has no income tax like Florida or Washington, Nevada, Texas, and maybe they have some income from a neighboring state, you can click on Start a New Return to create a new state tax return. But for this example, we're going to bypass that. We're just going to click on Save and Continue Return. All right, here, this is going to continue asking some state information here of what you'd like to file. And again, since we don't have a state return, this page is going to be blank. Otherwise, there would be some checkboxes on this page to indicate that you would want to e-file those state returns. But again, since we don't have states, we're just going to click on Save and Continue Return. All right, so this is going to be our payment or our refund summary. Now that we have a refund, it's going to show us a summary of that, our amount, and we're going to receive it by check. You can always click on this to update it if you would want to change your mind and do direct deposit instead, or vice versa. but we have to check this box that we reviewed the above information and it is correct and complete. And then you can press Save and Continue Return. All right, so on this screen here, we got a few questions here. Are you ready to mark this return as completed? It must be answered yes. How do you want to file this return? Electronically. And are you ready to mark this return as reviewed? You must answer yes to these questions here, otherwise it won't let you file electronically. But since we did, we are indicating we do want to file electronically, and now we just hit Save and Continue Return. All right, now we're taken back out here to the client manage return page, and we do have to go through the client payment. How are you getting paid for your preparation fees? So if you scroll down towards the bottom of the page, you're going to see a start payment here. So we're going to click on this, and it's going to take us through to the client payment details screen where we can add a new invoice and indicate how we're going to get paid. Now, depending on your pricing setup, you may see some different screens here. I have it set up for manual charge, but if you have a per form or fixed rate, you may see a different page here. But I'm going to put in a $100 charge here, and I'm going to click on Continue. And as you can see, I got a $100 federal charge. I can modify by adding any discounts or additional charges. I'm going to indicate federal only. And now this one here I want to talk to, the payment mode. Our non-banking and our banking. Non-banking means that they're going to be paying with cash, check, credit card. Banking means you're going to be using one of our banking partners for a refund, transfer, and or an advance. For this particular example, we're going to select non-banking. But if you do work with one of our partners and you do want to use a refund transfer, make sure you do select banking. But once again, we're just selecting non-banking for this example, and we're going to press on Continue. So on this page here, you have an option to indicate if they're going to make a payment now or if they're going to generate an invoice. No, invoice only, to be paid at a later time. For this example, we're just going to say we're going to make the payment now. They're going to pay by cash of $100, and I'm going to mark this invoice as completed. It's been done. It's been taken care of. And then you're going to have a question down here. Do you want the e-files returned now? Yes or no. If you say yes, it's going to take you directly to the Transmit Now screen. If you say no, it's going to take us back to the client payment details. I'm going to say no so I can kind of show you the other way to get to the Transmit Now page. But if you were to say yes, we would go directly to it. So I'm going to leave this indicated as no, and I'm going to press on Save and Continue. All right, so now here on our client payment details, we can see the payment of cash, no amount due. And since everything's completed here, I'm going to click on Back to Manage Returns. And once I scroll down to the bottom, underneath where we entered our payment, the Transmit Now link becomes active. So this is where we would now go to transmit our tax return. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Transmit Now. And you'll see here that federal e-file for 1040. Now, if you were to have any states, they would also show up on this screen as well. You just want to make sure you select your state. But once you've made all your selections, you have an option here to Transmit Now or Add to Queue. Transmit Now immediately sends this return to the IRS. Add to Queue puts it off to the side. It gives you the ability to batch e-files returned at a later time. It does not send it right away, Add to Queue, but Transmit Now does send it immediately. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Transmit Now to immediately send this tax return. And now you can see on the following page under Federal 1040, the details here, our e-file has been queued. It has been sent to the IRS, and we are now just waiting, hopefully, for an acceptance. But if you do need to remove this return from queue because maybe you just remembered there was a mistake or for another reason, you can always go to e-file found here on the left. And if you click on queued, this icon up here, you can see your return here. And as long as you click on this little icon here to remove and click on Save and Continue, you can pull back that tax return if there are any adjustments that are needing to be made. So let's navigate back to that tax return. And now you can see that under the details here, the return has been completed and it's eligible for e-file. The edit button has been reactivated for any edits or changes that you need to make. And once you are ready, you can resend your tax return by going back to Transmit Now and transmitting that return immediately to the IRS. And that is how you complete and e-file a tax return using the web software and the interview input.